Well, you're watching the Finding Significance program, and finding significance is not just something that I'm interested in. Many, many people are. Cyn Meyer, Cynthia Meyer with Second Wind is one of those people. Give us your story in a hurry, will you, Cyn?
Sure. Thank you for having me. So, my story in a hurry is I've always wanted to work with this audience of older adults. I grew up playing music, violin, in retirement homes, and I saw early on what happens with a sedentary lifestyle.
Isn't that interesting? We think that we want to stop and slow down and rest. Everybody says, I can't wait to be done. And then they go and they are done. And then they become sedentary. What do you see that's happening in that world?
That's exactly it. So I grew up seeing the very, very latter end of that, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And then so if you dig deeper, then it's really much earlier stages where it's just the idea of the stereotype of retirement in general. And so I'm here with a personal mission to flip that on its head. So it is not time to experience leisure only for many decades. Sometimes retirement is longer than someone's career. So I am trying to flip that stereotype on its head and actively doing it with the movement. And the people who are spiraling up and not spiraling down are part of this movement.
Do you say it's okay to retire? Do you not like that word? What do you think?
I personally love the term and want to add more depth to it, more
Okay.
growth, right? And so changing the pattern of most people get stuck in disenchantment stage 3 and then they stabilize, right? I'm saying there's a huge growth journey ahead. It's the beginning of a huge growth journey. So redefining retirement. Some people I have found are very adverse to the term simply because of that stereotype, right? And it's because they're not a stereotype. They want that growth. They just don't know what it looks like because we haven't been trained as a culture. We've been trained to only financially prepare for retirement. And there's this huge identity shift that occurs. And so what happens is a lot of people are just lost with this open structure, open identity, open role. This shift feels so awkward and strange. And especially for, I have found people who are super high achievers, huge careers, top of their game. They're the ones who are like, they're probably afraid of the term retirement because where are they going to exert all that energy, right? And certainly a life of leisure only is not going to cut it for most people.
Preach. You're just doing it. Absolutely. 100% in agreement. So, how do you personally help them? What's your strategy? What's your plan?
My very, very common golden thread strategy has to do with the process around going from external motivators, which we are very conditioned, and it's very successful, this path of going for external motivators throughout our career and family life, money, achievement, accomplishments, family, and to transitioning that into intrinsic motivators. And
Say,
so,
say that again. You said intrinsic or internal?
yes.
Intrinsic. Okay.
Intrinsic. So extrinsic versus intrinsic,
Okay.
external, outward looking path for seeking the answers and validation versus internal path, seeking your deeper desires, dreams, wishes, goals. Those are always going to be on the inside. You are not a stereotype. And so it really, what we're traditionally are used to doing literally in your brain is to go outward for the answers. So asking what other retirees are doing, comparing. The comparison game is the culprit of feeling like, oh, there's something wrong with me. This is not right. Retirement is not for me. Volunteering is not for me, right? It's what your spouse suggests or what stereotypical volunteer gigs are out there or what you're supposed to do or going to the senior center, that those types of things are not for everyone. And so it's very much an intrinsic pathway to discovering the answers. And so that's the overarching theme of it.
Do you have a story of somebody that you're able to help through in this system?
Rather than just say one type of person,
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
have noticed that there are like the high achievers that I just described who are go, 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 used to achieving and accomplishing. And then there's this open space and they're like, what do I do? It's like going from 60 to zero. And then there's that typical person who's maybe not like a C-suite high corporate business owner type, but maybe like overgiver throughout their career, like a nurse or a teacher or someone who's just like overgiving and then they cross that finish line and they're like, oh, I'm burnt out on volunteering, things like that, right? The classic things that you're supposed to do in retirement. And so the the exact step by step process is the same for everyone. The outcomes are so different. And so once you go through this process of literally rewiring your brain, from going to external motivators to the internal motivators and gaining clarity first, which is the very key invisible step that most people just skip over and they continue to do these trial and error things and lose energy. Once people gain clarity, game on. They spiral up, they grow, they get to know self, authenticity, deeper desires more so than ever before without the external pressures of having to earn and support a family, etc. And the outcomes are so different across the board. Climbing mountains, writing books, starting podcasts, for example, being a creatively expressive, diving into acting, diving into musicianship, learning instruments, becoming the best grandparent. Um, so many different things, starting chapters, starting nonprofits, or, learning to relax, learning to play, traveling. Like it is so, and it's typically not just one void that you're filling with one activity. It's a multifaceted, robust retirement life full of many different facets. I like to call it the five rings of retirement. Uh, and they each have their own cadences
Well, you
peppered
might as well tell me
throughout.
what the five rings are. Do you know what they are?
Yes. So growth would be one
Yeah.
big one. Uh, Giving back is where you share your unique gifts. So it's
Okay.
not just a classic volunteering
Okay.
and community. So your involvement in the community, your engagements, but also just like your relationships in general, like within your family, with your spouse. So
Okay.
just relationships in general, health, not just physical, but mental and emotional. And this
Okay.
is often where people experience a lot of spiritual growth as well, and mindfulness. And then finance is the fifth, with the sole purpose of fueling your life in the four other more colorful, meaningful areas of life.
Hmm. Hmm. You know, I've sensed this. I've talked to other people about this. This is, I would say, a movement in that people who have never met other ways have the same ideas and the same conclusions. I find it fascinating that in my own program, I help people find clarity that gives them energy to find fulfillment. And you have your own language, which is the overlap is huge.
Huge.
So,
You just
so
hit on spot on the main themes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think what I want to do is let people contact you because you have your own. I mean, obviously, this movement is far bigger than just one person. If somebody wants to go through your program, and the program is called Second Wind, is that what you call it?
My website is called Second Wind Movement, a company.
Hmm.
The program is called Rewire My Retirement.
Rewire my retirement.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. And how do I, and your website again?
Secondwindmovement.com.
And that's all
So,
spelled out, correct?
yes.
Okay. And I'll
Yeah.
put
So
the,
if
okay.
you just go to the top right corner, there's a free masterclass if you want to dive into the rewiring process. That's one option. And I'm really dedicated to just continuing to supply content like yourself, just like since 2017. So there's a full article there, got a YouTube channel. It's just all about providing this type of content so that people, it's all for the one goal, helping you live your best, turn your retirement years into your best years full of purpose and passion.
I feel like when we are running against an obstacle we can't really see or feel, it's like running through molasses. And these people who are looking at the, a retirement, they're running into a headwind they can't really feel. And distraction is our enemy. And one of the things I like about what you're saying is, okay, we certainly can watch another channel. We could buy a vacation home. We could go RVing. We could go on vacations. But are these distracting us from what a really amazing, stage of life could be? And if the answer is yes, I would say try to spend less time distracting yourself and more time engaging in people who give you a glimpse of what your possibilities could be. And certainly you have done that.
Mm.
Well, Sin, we have a limited time. So I just wanted to get you on, get your take, validate what you're doing, and encourage you because this is absolutely awesome. Hey, thanks very much for your time. God
Thank
bless.
you, Jeff.
For details, you can email me any questions you have. Here is my email address. Until we talk, I'm Jeff Gould. God bless.